Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Spider-Man and Wolverine, issue number 5, baby. So, there are so many things I can say is the best part about this comic book. I would say that the writing, I could say that the art, I could say the story, I could say where everything's going, but I'm going to save what the best part about this comic book is till towards the end. Let's first get talking about who made this comic book. We're going to move on from there. So, Mark Guggenheim is in fact the writer. Kari Andrews on art. Brian Reber doing color art. And VC's Travis Lanham on letters. One of the best things about this comic book is that the interior artist, Kari Andrews, is also the cover artist. There are a whole bunch of variant covers out there, including one by, I haven't talked to him in a long time, but my friend, Ario Anandito, right? Whole lot of good stuff here. Also, they put on here that Stanley was created by Stanley. Spider-Man was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Guys, every single thing about this comic book, all right? This issue is called Dreadstar. There is so much here. I'm freaking out at how, and that's the thing, I don't even have to freak out. It's just the idea. This is so good. So we've got Dread Shadow. He's the main guy here. He's the Enigma, as it's called. Does he die in this issue? I don't know. Do villains ever really die? Does anybody really die? As long as their name isn't Uncle Ben. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. Peter Parker seems to have the only people who actually stay dead because his parents seem to still be dead. We get to find out what happens to actually happened to his parents, kind of. Did Wolverine kill them? I'm going to say, look, I'm going to give you this one spoiler. The answer is no, but I'm not going to tell you what actually happened because that part is very emotional. And we get to find out a little bit something about Teresa in this comic book. Guys, it's not that I'm trying to hold in all of my surprise and love for this comic book. It's that suddenly everything seems to make just a little tiny bit more sense in Spider-Man's world. This is a monumental, is it a key issue? I'm going to argue that for the storyline purposes of Spider-Man and in many ways Wolverine, but also Teresa, yeah, this is kind of a key issue to have. If you're not so concerned with new characters, you're more concerned with story progression. This is one of those stories that actually changes the game. So all these other characters in here, these Sinister Six-like characters, you got Kraven the Hunter, Chameleon, not so much, but he's still out there, right? Kraven is there. That's his brother, if I remember correctly. Omega Red is here, and Mysterio and Dr. Octopus, right? These guys are all around and they're doing things. It's funny, I didn't see the Enforcer here except in a flashback, and I thought he was here like in the beginning. And notice the way in the very beginning how Wolverine's trying to kill the Enforcer, and then the way Spider-Man tries to stop him. Notice which uniforms, which outfits they're both wearing when that happens. Then look just 4 or 5 pages later, and what exactly is happening? What are they wearing? What are they doing? It's said by Dread Shadow that they're not heroes. No, I'm going to completely disagree with that. They're both heroes in their own way, Spider-Man and Wolverine. Teresa's commentary on that. Yeah, 5 words or so. Really brilliant. She doesn't quite do what she was trying to do in this, but it happens later anyway. Oh man, There is so much in this book. And what is the best part of the entire comic? It's that although this story concludes, the comic book does not. It says to be continued. Those other guys are still out there. I am loving this. Guys, if this turns into a regular monthly series, you're looking at a happy comic book reviewer. A very happy one indeed. You are talking about some of the absolute finest art out there. This feels like Jim Shooter is in the beginning of this comic book, the legacy tribute to one of the most important men in comic book history. And he's right there. And all he did was maintain, right? But he was brilliant also. Solid artist, great writer, and unsurpassable in so much as his editorial skills. This feels like a Jim Shooter approved comic book. God rest his soul. The idea that this art feels like that 80s art blows me away. The story feels like one of those stories from the 80s where you actually thought this is going to be life-changing. And there is a life-changing moment in here. And I'm reading this and I'm thinking to myself, did I travel back in time? It's funny, I keep on seeing all these videos, these AI videos that are geared towards us Gen Xers. Hey man, come back to the 80s. We missed you. It's way better back then. And all those things are true, but that's not where we're supposed to live. We're supposed to live in the now, right? You can't live in the past. But we could try to make it like the past. And while the world may seem to be falling apart, race relations are falling apart, people are cheering the murder of a person who just wanted to talk, which is odd because superheroes are supposed to try and preserve life, even the worst kind of life. Yeah, but let's not bring the modern day into this. All the bad things that are happening in the world, and the 80s, all of this stuff was better. And to see a comic book that brings me right back to when comics were the best, no, not at all. The best was back in the Silver Age. But the Bronze Age and the post-Bronze Age did something for us that really changed who we are. I wouldn't say even changed who we are because we were so young, so impressionable back then. It changed the direction of our hearts. This feels like one of those comic books that does exactly that. I'm not saying this is the best comic book out there. What I am saying is you are missing out on a piece of history that feels more like it was dug up from an ancient artifact site as opposed to written today. Mark Guggenheim and Kari Andrews, Brian Reber also. I always had, ever since I've seen their work, I've always had this immense respect for these men. But what they did with this comic book so far, these 5 issues, and this comic book by itself, guys, you have to read all of these books. And if you're younger than me, then understand this is pretty much every comic book that I read when I was younger, when I was around 14 or so. This is how comic books were designed to be produced. It actually feels like something happened and that something's impending with this book. This is what the medium of comic books were meant for. and it feels freaking great. It feels like home. Grab this comic book, grab the series, grab the trade paperback, grab your wallet. All right? This is the good stuff right here. I'll talk to you all later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.